Gojo vs Mahoraga is finally here for real this time, and if you like Jujutsu Kaisen and other anime content, subscribe for more. I was going to make a whole review on the Chapter 232 spoilers, but that whole chapter can pretty much be summed up as Gojo Black Flash and Mahoraga spawning. So today I want to talk about how can Gojo beat Mahoraga even if it has adapted to Infinity or even the rest of his technique. And I don't know if it's just me, but this whole Mahoraga might be adapted to Limitless thing sounds eerily reminiscent of something I talked about a month ago. And something else I talked about last time was Sukuna might be knocked out right now, because he ate a pretty painful looking Black Flash and a lot of people assumed he was knocked out. I'm not sure if this is actually the case. But the main reason I think he might not be is because he just summoned Mahoraga, and as far as I know, 10 Shadows is not automated, and he also did not fall over last time we saw him. And this is anime, so characters' eyes going white is pretty much par for the course, so this might be a 2v1 for Gojo. But let's assume for the first part of this video that it is a 1v1, because Mahoraga being adapted to Infinity, this thing is probably going to be at least relative with Gojo in physical stats. We already know that Mahoraga is able to adapt its offensive capabilities and not just its defensive, and I don't really see the point in having another cliffhanger with Mahoraga showing up to fight Gojo if it's just going to get dump trucked in the back seat. Gojo also did say he could blow this thing apart in one shot, but he also said, "I'll beat you dead before it hits 3 spins," and that sure didn't happen. And a Shikigami under the control of Ryoma and Sukuna should be stronger than one under control of Megami, especially his exorcism Mahoraga from Shibuya. We do have statements from an early series Mahito saying that the user of a Shikigami can increase its strength and its size with skill. And we also see this represented in Nu being a large giant kaiju bird. And a lot of people have been confused about Mahoraga constantly changing sizes. Well, there's your explanation. So a Mahoraga under control of Sukuna probably going to be a lot more dangerous than the one we saw in Shibuya. But what can Gojo do to bring down the giant behemoth Shikigami? Well, there are a few options. First of all, this is a Quirkle Shinobi video, so I have to bring up Gojo's teleport. I know I bring it up all the time, but it's not my fault Gege Akatame never wants to write him using it. He really could just teleport away and grab Angel or somebody else to help him. And honestly, I don't see why he wouldn't. He's already shown that he's completely willing to accept outside help in this fight. So grabbing Angel, that just seems like the smartest option. She is the reason we are in this mess, so have her teleport on over, fly up real high, and drop a nuke. Just light up the sky and annihilate this thing. Because Gojo's Black Flash is pretty strong, but this didn't even pierce Sukuna's flesh, and I doubt it's going to disintegrate a Mahoraga in one hit. It would probably do a lot of damage, but Mahoraga does not take very long to adapt and heal itself. The elephant in the room here is obviously that Gojo might still be able to use Hollow Purple or Red Reversal against this thing. And Red Reversal doesn't really kill anything in this series, but Hollow Purple, that is kind of the giant murder tool. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Mahoraga, probably not a user of domain amplification to nullify Hollow Purple or Red Reversal, but Mahoraga can use Cursed Energy, so maybe it will have a Black Flash. Could you imagine this giant thing Black Flashing? So long story short, in a 1v1, Mahoraga probably going to be a problem even if Gojo does wind up killing it. And I'm kind of tired of talking about Gojo's maximum technique or if he even has one, but if he does have a maximum and he does use it in this fight, it would probably be against Mahoraga right now. A lot of people thought the 200% Hollow Purple was his maximum technique. He never said this was his maximum technique, and in the hidden inventory we did see Azure Glow. But here he says maximum output, not maximum Azure Glow. So maybe it is his maximum technique, but I kind of doubt it. And if it is his maximum technique, he probably has a much stronger version of it now. We saw something similar in the last chapter where he made all these little orbs that he shot at Sukuna. And he also made all these little orbs in the same pattern as Mahoraga's wheel, and that had to be on purpose because he's probably just messing with Sukuna. Was there really any reason to make them in the exact same pattern as Mahoraga's wheel? Not really, but it's pretty funny. But the real question is, how much has the wheel actually adapted to? Because it just sounds like it's adapted to Infinity and Unlimited Void. But we also get things from Hakari saying that Limitless gives rise to a technique that requires multiple spins to adapt to. But we also have Sukuna say that Unlimited Void gives rise to a cursed technique effect that can only be used within the domain. And Gojo last chapter says that Sukuna needs 4 spins in total to adapt to his Infinity, not Limitless. So it sounds like the wheel can only adapt to one part of Limitless at a time, but who knows honestly, because the rules of the wheel are changing every week. Or to be more accurate, accurate, we are learning new things about the wheel every week, and Mahoraga will probably have some new surprises if he sticks around. And speaking of new surprises, if Sukuna is awake, this probably would be approaching the time we finally see his CT, because previously Sukuna said he was unable to use other curse techniques while adapting, but now Mahoraga is out and free. And this whole time, Sukuna's been on the defensive, because even with domain amplification, he can't go on the offensive or the wheel's adaptation will be interrupted. And adapting this wheel, that's really been Sukuna's priority this entire fight. I mean, we know it's been his priority since at least the first domain clash. And this is the first time in this fight that he's no longer having the wheel on himself or Megumi's soul, and he is truly bringing out Mahoraga as a fist-fighting behemoth. And Mahoraga with Sukuna, that's pretty rough, even for Gojo, just because Sukuna's hand-to-hand, even if it's not the equivalent of a blue enforced Gojo, his reinforcement is still no joke, and Gojo's Black Flash did knock the wind out of him, but he was not on the ground and he was not dead. He propelled Sukuna with a red reversal into his blue suction fist Black Flash. That is the hardest punch he has hit him with this entire fight. And this fight seems like it's lasting a lot longer than most people expected it to. I saw some people predicting an 8-chapter fight before this started. Well, it's gotten a lot longer than that. At this point, I will not be at all surprised if this fight lasts to like 15 to 20 chapters at least. While there are some things I don't like about this fight, and there are some explanations I don't really buy, I think for the most part, once the actual fight is over, we'll have some pretty good explanations, and we'll be able to say, okay, that's why those characters were acting that way in that situation. And a lot of people, myself included, have said, oh, Gojo should have done this, oh, Sukuna should have done that, but in reality, we really don't know what they could or could not have done until we have a full view of what their arsenal actually is. Even Gojo has been bringing out new things to this fight and holding back part of his technique to prevent adaptation. I think both of these guys have a lot more gas in the tank than people are giving them credit for, and we're really only in the beginning of round 2. And Mahoraga versus a 6 Eyes Limitless user, that is such a hyped matchup. We first heard about it over 100 chapters ago, and this is really the only chance you're going to get it, so a part of me really hopes this is a 1v1 and it's not just Sukuna versus Gojo, but it could go either way because Gege Akatami is known to subvert our expectations. But Mahoraga coming out to fight Gojo, that is hype, and I don't think we should downplay Mahoraga because this is the behemoth Shikigami, the trump card of the 10 Shadows. And if Gojo kills this thing and the totality takes a while, the totality will probably be in possession of Megumi if he gets his body back. So Gojo's performance here in saving Megumi, this could be giving him the pinnacle of his technique. And on the subject of Megumi, throughout JJK, especially when he first got his domain expansion, we saw that Sukuna and Gojo both came up in his mind. He takes from both of them, so the idea of Gojo killing Mahoraga and granting it the totality that Sukuna gave Megumi the Shikigami of to begin with, personally, I think that'd be pretty cool. I like Gojo and Sukuna both leaving their mark on Megumi that lets him progress to his actual potential. And it'd be extra funny if that true potential comes into play later in beating Sukuna's ass once Megumi is free. Because we have a whole arc after this, and even if Gojo wins, Sukuna's probably not going to die permanently, and Yuji is going to have his rematch, and I imagine Megumi will probably want a piece of that. Because beating Sukuna's ass, that is one of the core themes of JJK, but he is just so ridiculously goddamn evil that I don't see a world where JJK gets to the end of the final arc where he is alive. I'm just saying, there's no redemption to be had for this guy. There's not going to be some, oh, Frieza learned the trust in battle from Goku with this guy. No way. Like, he's going to try to stomp on Yuji until he's dead. But that's just my opinion. What do you think about Gojo versus Mahoraga, his continued fight with Sukuna, and the rest of this series? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like content like this, subscribe for more. And as always, thanks for watching.